I'm going to show you how to place your design in this Photoshop mock-up of a A2 greeting card. So that means that your design needs to be 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. So we're going to go ahead, you're going to open up this file in Photoshop, and then if you look in the layers, this red layer that says place your design here, you're going to double click on this little icon. That means that this object is a smart object and you can edit it to be shaped to fit this card in the photograph without actually changing the file. It's a super helpful feature of Photoshop that makes making mockups so easy. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this and a new window is going to pop up. See, our original mockup file is still here and it's opening up that layer. And so this is where you're going to place your artwork. Now you'll notice that the rectangle is not skewed like it will be in the mockup. That is the beauty of smart objects. So when you place your artwork, you're not going to have to reshape it every time. And that just makes it so fast. So you're going to hide this, or you can even delete it. And then you're going to place your artwork. So I'll just show you. I've got my artwork here. I'm going to place this file. So if you go back to Photoshop, go to File, Place Linked. You can also place Embedded, but it just will make your file a lot bigger because it's going to basically copy that file into this new file. So I like to place linked because I'm not often moving my files around. So it's just going to create a link to keep your file size small, because sometimes, especially if it's a mock-up that I use a lot, then it just makes my computer go really slow if I have these huge files. So I'm going to select the file. You're going to come to this page. So if you have a piece of artwork that has several pages, it will allow you to select the page you want to insert. And now my artwork, so I'm just going to make sure that's selected. It will have that blue line around it, and hit OK. Now my artwork is vector artwork, which means that it is scalable. So when Photoshop places anything that's done in Illustrator that's a vector, it makes it kind of small. But because it's a vector, I can resize it. If your artwork is created in Photoshop, or if it's a JPEG or a PNG, and it places this small, that means you need to resize your artwork or recreate it so that it is the right proportions and the right size. But since this is a vector, we can go ahead and resize. If you were to resize this with a JPEG, it would look super pixely and not super high quality. So you just click on your artwork and drag it to fit, and see how the proportions are slightly out? That's because the rectangle that we've stretched and angled to fit the perspective of the card is a little out of whack. Now, on some mock-ups, it's going to look super strange, but just trust me, just drag your artwork to fit the rectangle that's there. And sometimes it might look super weird and wonky, but once you're done and your artwork is to the outside of the artboard, just hit return and then save or Command S and close your tab. And voila, there we go. Your artwork is placed just like that. Now, sometimes with a design like this that's quite dark, I will knock back the opacity just slightly, just because sometimes the colors just look a little bit too vibrant to look real. It just gives it a little bit more realism. But yeah, and so now once I've got that placed, I'm good to go, and I can export it to add to my Etsy shop or to my social media. So I like to export and save for web. It has really good settings, so I can resize it to fit maybe like the Etsy recommended size. and then hit save it to where you want to save it to, and you're good to go.